6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back to Miss Kelly's Book Nook for episode 3 in our space exploration series. So in episode 1, we explored the planet Earth, and then we left Earth and went to the moon for episode 2. But today, we are going to the far reaches of our solar system, to my favorite planet, Pluto. Now, when I was growing up, I was taught that Pluto was a true planet. But many years after I left school, scientists decided Pluto's not a real planet. Pluto's actually a dwarf planet. Well, in my heart, Pluto will always be a planet to me, even if scientifically it's not. But here's the really exciting part. In July of 2015, a spacecraft known as New Horizons flew past Pluto and sent us pictures of Pluto close up for the first time ever. Before that, even with the most powerful telescope, all we could see of Pluto was just the light shining off of it. And now we actually get to see what the surface of Pluto really looks like. And even better than that, we get to see what's beyond Pluto. And we're learning so many things about all of the objects in outer space. It's a very exciting time. And things are still being sent back. Pictures and videos are still being sent back to this day, and we're continuing to learn even more. So it's really, really cool. I can't wait to find out what we're going to see. There'll be a link down below to videos about and from the New Horizons mission. Now, let me tell you something interesting about the New Horizons mission. It actually launched almost 10 years before it flew past Pluto. It took almost 10 years to get to Pluto. Now, you may think that that's a really long time, but it's actually really, really fast. Remember in our last episode how it took 3 days to get to the moon? Well, New Horizons flew past the moon in about 6 hours. So it's traveling really, really fast, but Pluto is really, really far away. So I can't wait to find out all about Pluto for the first time and really get some hard facts about Pluto. So excited. So that's why I chose this book for us today. It's called A Place for Pluto, written by Stef Wade and illustrated by Melanie Demmer. And it says, "And then there were 8. Pluto gets the shock of his life when he finds out he's not a planet. He feels lost, confused, and left out. He doesn't fit in anywhere. But instead of giving up, Pluto takes off. Now he's on a voyage to figure out who he really is and find his true place in the solar system." So, why is Pluto no longer a planet? Let's find out. For the better part of forever, Pluto was a planet. One of the famous 9. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. He was the smallest and the farthest from the sun, but he was proud just the same. Then one day, Saturn with her rings flashing, and Jupiter with his entourage of moons beside him, told Pluto the worst news ever. You're not a planet anymore. You're just not big enough. Sorry. Even though Pluto orbited around the sun and was mostly round, the creatures on Earth decided he was too small. But I'm in all the school books. Time to rewrite history. I don't have time for this. I've got visitors to prepare for. Pluto was crushed. He tried to protest. Not fair! Stand with Pluto! Hashtag Pluto belongs! But it was no use. There. Feeling sad and rejected, Pluto left with Charon and his other 4 moons by his side to find his place in the galaxy. As Pluto moved along, his friend Halley's comet streaked past. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I get that a lot. Halley was a comet and still a part of the solar system, but comets have tails and Pluto did not. Pluto wasn't a comet or a planet. He was a nobody. Feeling more blue than brown, Pluto kept moving. When Pluto saw Jem, Percy, and Ori crashing in as dusty, rocky comet tails, he wondered if he could join them. The meteoroids were always having fun and clowning around. This time, they were trying to smash into Earth. You should try this, Pluto. No, thanks. Earth is kind of like a mother to me. Then Ida the asteroid orbited by. Pluto and Ida were nearly the same size. Pluto thought he'd finally figured out his true identity. Hey, Ida, do you mind if I join you for a spin in the asteroid belt? Wish you could, Pluto, but the rule book says rocks only. You know asteroids are rocks, right? Pluto wasn't a planet, or a comet, or an asteroid. He missed being a planet. He missed his old friends. He missed feeling like he belonged. Too small to be a planet, too big to be a rock. I used to fit in here, but now I do not. No one in the solar system was a match for Pluto. He spun around the sun like everyone else, but he wasn't a planet, or a comet, or an asteroid, or a meteoroid. Pluto had nowhere to turn. He was about to give up when he saw someone he'd never seen before. He felt like he was looking in a mirror. Pardon me if I sound rude, but what are you? I'm a dwarf planet. My name is Eris, and these are my friends, Haumea, Maki, and Ceres. Pluto stared in wonder at the 4 dwarf planets. They were too small to be planets, but too big to be rocks. They were not planets or comets or asteroids or meteoroids. They were just like him. You're just who I've been searching for. Really? Then you should join us. Pluto felt more like himself than ever before. He couldn't wait to tell his old friends about his new ones. Turns out his old friends missed him too. We're sorry, Pluto. Just because you're not a planet anymore doesn't mean we don't love you. Pluto was over the moon. He was part of the solar system with friends, both old and new. He smiled an intergalactic smile that was out of this Milky Way. Let's celebrate with some chocolate. These feelings warm me to the core. I can feel the love. You all make me dizzy. Dwarf Planet has a nice ring to it. Neighbors forever. I'm so glad you're making friends, honey. Dwarf Planets rock. Glad you're not feeling blue anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Way to go, little man. Till we meet again. So, why is Pluto not a planet? What's the deal with Pluto? In 1930, Pluto was discovered as the 9th planet in the solar system. I made it! Awesome! In 2006, Pluto was told he was not a planet anymore. Bummer. Poor Pluto. Why? Scientists decided that to be a planet, it must orbit around the sun, check, have a round shape, check, be able to clear its own orbit by pulling asteroids toward itself, making the asteroids part of the planet. Are you kidding me with this? Pluto does orbit around the sun and is mostly round, but Pluto is small, only half the size of the United States, and shares the area around its orbit with Neptune and many other large objects in an area called the Kuiper Belt. But Pluto isn't alone. Other dwarf planets like Ceres, Eris, Haumea, and Makemake cannot clear an object out of their paths either. BFFs. So, that's our story. Now here's some fun facts all about the New Horizons mission. All right, time for some fun facts all about the New Horizons mission to Pluto. Did you know there are 9 secret items hidden on Pluto's New Horizons mission? The New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto and into the Kuiper Belt around July 2015. Back in 2008, the New Horizons team revealed the secret stowaways they had hidden on board the spacecraft. 9 objects. Can you guess why there were 9? Were attached and sent along on the 10-year journey to the outer reaches of our solar system. Believe it or not, included in the items are 1 actual person and parts of several thousands of other people. Here's the complete list. Number 1, 1 actual person. Well, part of an actual person. A portion of Pluto discoverer Clyde Tombaugh's ashes were put in a container and attached to the underside of the spacecraft. So that's what this is. So remember, Pluto was discovered in 1930? Well, the man who discovered it, part of his ashes were put in this little container and attached to the spacecraft itself. Pretty cool, huh? And on the container is an inscription that says, "Interned herein are the remains of American Clyde W. Tombaugh, discoverer of Pluto and the solar system's 3rd zone, Adele and Miron's boy. Patricia's husband, Annette and Alden's father, astronomer, teacher, punster, and friend, Clyde W. Tombaugh, 1906 to 1997. Pretty cool. Item number 2. The author of this article and about 434,000 other people too. The Send Your Name to Pluto CD-ROM with more than over 400,000 names of people who wanted to participate in this great journey of exploration. The author says, "I'm pumped about being along for the ride, and I hope you are on board too." Item number 3. A CD-ROM with pictures of the New Horizons project personnel. Number 4. A Florida state quarter from the state where New Horizons was launched. Number 5. A Maryland state quarter from the state where New Horizons was built. Number 6. A small piece cut from Spaceship One is installed on New Horizons' lower inside deck with a 2-sided inscription. On the front it says, to commemorate its historic role in the advancement of spaceflight, this piece of Spaceship One is being flown on another historic spacecraft, New Horizons. New Horizons is Earth's first mission to Pluto, the farthest known planet in our solar system. And on the back it reads, Spaceship One was Earth's first privately funded manned spacecraft. Spaceship One flew from the United States of America in 2004. So that was a mission that wasn't connected to the government at all. And so you can see here a picture of a piece of Spaceship One that was sent along with New Horizons. Item number 7, a U.S. flag. Item number 8, another version of a U.S. flag. And item number 9, the 1991 U.S. stamp proclaiming Pluto not yet explored. So this is what the stamp looked like in 1991, celebrating Pluto where we hadn't explored. Now, New Horizons principal investigator, Dr. Alan Stern, disclosed the list of items at a ceremony at Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum's Udvar Hazy Center, where a model of the New Horizons spacecraft was added to the museum. Back in 2008, Stern petitioned the U.S. Postal Service to issue a new stamp for Pluto after the spacecraft arrived at Pluto. Maybe something like this. So, I'll have a link to this article down below as well if you'd like to see more of the pictures close up. But how about that? 9 secret items on New Horizons. So why are there 9 items? I'll bet you can figure it out. All right, let's chat. So in our story, A Place for Pluto, Pluto searches the entire solar system, trying to figure out where he fits in. And isn't that what we do every day? Trying to figure out where we fit in, where we belong. Well, the truth is, sometimes we fit in with people who are just like us, and sometimes we fit in with people who are different than us, and that can be confusing sometimes. So have a discussion with your kids about belonging. What groups do they belong to? I belong to my family, to my church, to my work. I belong to my circle of friends and to other groups that I participate in. So have a discussion with your kids about where they feel they belong and how they can expand their sense of self by belonging to as many different groups as possible. So just like Pluto, who belongs to our solar system, but belongs to the group of dwarf planets, belongs to planets in general because it's kind of a planet, belongs to outer space in whole because it's in outer space. So even though Pluto is considered a dwarf planet, Pluto's actually a member of many different groups. So what groups are you a part of? And how many can you help to bring into your group to give everyone a sense of belonging? All right, it's activity time. So, one of the coolest things that the New Horizons mission to Pluto has found is that the scientists have discovered what they believe to be an active volcano on Pluto. And this is shocking to them. They've not seen this anywhere else in the solar system. They assumed that Pluto was so far away from the sun and therefore so cold that it was basically a dead planet. And the fact that they've found a volcano suggests that there's actually heat hidden within Pluto, and it's rising to the top. So we're going to simulate a sort of underwater volcano that illustrates the same principle. So inside this jar, I have some ice water, and inside this jar is some hot water that I put in the microwave. Now be very careful with hot water because it can burn. So this is probably a good step for an adult to do. Now, what I did was, this has to be a glass jar because you want it to sink to the bottom of this. A plastic jar would float. But I took a piece of plastic, I cut a hole in the top of it, and I secured it with a rubber band. Now, you want to make sure that the jar is nice and full, and of course I colored it with some food coloring, so mine is some nice blue lava. You can use whatever color lava you want. But what do you think is going to happen when we put this jar of hot water, which is simulating the internal heat of Pluto, into our cold water simulating the coldness of the planet? Let's find out. Now this activity is simulating the same thing that happens with water currents. When warm water is around cold water, warm is going to rise. And this is essentially the same thing that's happening on Pluto with its volcano. So it might be hard to see. I'm going to get it as close as I can, but it's hard with the lights and everything. But if you can see, the blue water, the hot water, is actually rising inside the cold. And even if you can't see the jets in the camera, you can see that the top of the water here is getting a little blue. So I hope you can see it. There's a good shot right there. Yeah. Check it out. Pretty cool, huh? So this is essentially how the volcano is working on the planet Pluto, or the dwarf planet Pluto. So try this out for yourself. Be careful, but have some fun exploring your own underwater volcano, just like the volcano on Pluto. Can't wait to see what else is going to be coming from New Horizons. I'm so excited to find out what's outside of the Kuiper Belt. Oh, I'm so excited. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you had just as much fun as I did. Now remember, videos are good, one-on-one is better. Read with your kids. We'll see you next time. Bye.